tonight. We got John and Brandon with us. Guys, this is a long story, so I want to kind of go into it real quick with you guys. Um, Brandon, you hear about the guy from Iowa that was Venmoing beer money on ESPN?
Oh yeah, I heard about that story. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, very strange. This was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Venmo, you could send money back and forth to each other. So he thought it was funny. It was during the ESPN Sports Center where, they had all kinds of fun, crazy signs. So he said, Venmo me money. He put his email address or whatever his code was, and he got a bunch of donations. So this guy gets a bunch of donations, and then it quickly goes viral online. And once it goes viral, he says, I'm going to, like, he was an Iowa State fan, right, Brandon? I think.
Yeah, Iowa definitely. I would say yeah.
Okay. And in Iowa, they make a big deal because there's a children's hospital that overlooks the stadium that, the players actually at the end of the first quarter, they salute the kids and everything. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff happening. So so what happens? He says, "Hey, I'm going to donate money to the Iowa hospital." So it goes viral. Everyone gets excited. Anheuser Busch, because he wants beer money, they offered to double the winnings or the money raised for the hospital. And Brandon, I think it got to over 100,000, maybe.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay,
No.
so John, very good story to start out. Nothing wrong with it. But where it gets weird, and this is where I wanted to talk about it, the Des Moines Register, and all transparency, a Gannett paper. I used to work for Gannett, so they write a story about this kid, which it's great, viral story and everything else. So at the end of the story, before they publish it, they decide to investigate the kids' tweets, what he's posted on Twitter and everything,
Mm.
and they find out that he's made some anti-gay, racist comments, and they decide to ask him about that and put that in the story. Now, Brandon, you're the journalist in the group. I gotta ask you about this. I, I've never, and I hate to say never because someone's going to say, "Yeah, you've had to do this one time." I've never been in a newsroom where they've asked people to research somebody's old tweets. Do you understand why they did this? I'm a little bit confused on what's going on with the story.
I believe what happened, and I mean I'm not fully well versed on it either, so it's a little bit bad that we're talking about it. But it sounded like a reporter with the paper had called out this guy because the reporter went into his tweets and found those um, um, you know untasteful, not so tasteful tweets, racist or anti-gay or whatever. I didn't know the full nature of the tweets, so don't quote me on that. But kind of calling him out on that, from on Twitter, from the sounds of it. And of course, the Des Moines Register, was in the situation like, well, do we admit that information or do we um, put that in the story? I mean, it's kind of it's the biggest challenge a newspaper or a journalist has is what's conceal or don't conceal, or news judgment essentially in this case, because this is not necessarily relevant to if this was supposed to be a feel good story, guy started out asking for beer money, decided to say, hey, I'll donate it to children's hospital. I mean, this really had no relevance to it. But at the same time, we live in this day and age where newspapers get bashed for omitting details here and there. I mean, I'm sure that's why this became a conversation for them. So, yeah.
But see, what really confuses me is, okay, let's say this guy was like, "Hey, I'm going to donate money because racism's bad," or "I'm going to donate money to support a gay rights group," or whatever the case might be. Yeah, then you could easily make the distinction saying, "Wait a minute, why is he doing this when he's racist, or if he's says bad things about gay people, or whatever." But the weird thing about it, it's got nothing to do with that. That's why I don't understand. Yeah, you shouldn't tweet things that demean other people, of course, but I don't understand why the paper would investigate that. I know we're in a different culture in 2019, but Brandon, I've never been in a paper that I've asked people to do that. That's why I don't really understand. You know?
I think it's partly also because of social media. We're still relatively new, not so much to where I think we should know better now, but I think we're still learning about how newspapers should treat these kind of posts. And this is of course another chapter in the current trend called cancel culture, where since at the very least Roseanne Barr's tweets, got her fired from her production show, and then followed by James Gunn, who got outed for some untasteful tweets he did, and of course he got later rehired back.
Yeah, once the dust cleared.
Yeah, once the dust cleared. I mean, so this is something that it's sort of a conversation our society is having for sure. I'll point out that the reporter who did tweet called out the guy. He apparently also had offensive tweets in his profile. Apparently, whether he resigned or fired, it's unclear. But he's no longer working with the Des Moines Register, according to the editor.
Yeah,
on the column.
And he's come out with some videos really, kind of protesting that. So, I mean, if he was fired or asked to resign, obviously it wasn't his choice to leave. And I don't know. I mean, John, we're older. We've been goofy together. We've, done some weird things and just, joked around and everything else like that. Now, when we were in college, we didn't have Twitter to post our thoughts to or anything.
Praise God.
I mean, do you think we're going too far in saying, hey, this person tweeted this in college? Does that mean they're a scuzz bucket?
Yeah, we're going too far. Literally, anyone who wants to try to make a difference in this world in any type of positive way, including raising money for children, all of a sudden they become some target so that they can be headhunted, so that some little troll piece of garbage can put their feather in their cap and say, aha, I caught them. What the heck? Do you realize, like, back when we were in school, those types of people were beat up in the back hallway?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I think, and Brandon, jump in too if you like.
I'm just flat out saying that these type of people are the lowest form of society when you're going after someone who's trying to do good, and their first inclination is, what can I dig up? That's garbage. Someone does something really good for the culture, and you do that? Come on. I'm sorry. I'm mad about this. And it goes way beyond this story.
Well, no, I can understand that. But, I mean, Brandon, maybe you can say something about this in terms of...
Why do anything good? Why get on the radar of the world if people are just going to hunt you down to snipe at you like a bunch of jackals?
Okay, well,
go ahead. You were talking to Brandon. My apologies.
Oh, no, you're fine. Brandon, this kid's 24.
He's 24.
Okay, well, I guess the question I have, and both of you guys answer, is there a statute of limitations, though, that says, okay, if this kid made this comment publicly yesterday, there's probably some type of a different standard than if he wrote it on Twitter 10 years ago. Brandon, is there, would you say there's a common sense thing to say, hey, if you said something 5 years ago, we're going to give you a little bit more credit than if you said something yesterday or earlier in the day, on TV?
Well, I mean, this is kind of, I think it really depends on the circumstances. And in this case, I don't think the circumstances justify the guy's tweets to be outed like that. That being said, I'm sure if there was, some other time period, maybe if he was like, as you put it out, what if he was like 35 and someone outed his tweets at 30? Though then again, the circumstances being, as John pointed out, he's just trying to do a little good thing with kids, raise money for kids. That being said, aside from just disparaging remarks, what if some reporter digged in and found out something nefarious background? I mean, something a little more serious, I mean, do you mention that? Like, as you point out, maybe if there was a little relevancy to the tweets, like, you know, if what he was doing that contradicted what seemed kind of jarring, you know,
Right.
like, oh, he's like, again, we're totally not true, making this up. But like, what if you got a scenario where, oh, he's donating money to children's hospital, but then also had, you know, tweets about pedophilia or, you know, kids should be raped or
of course, right.
Which, you know, is like, you know, then maybe that is a little more relevant and kind of like, can you kind of, or because maybe what if it's like a weird sick kick he's getting out by doing this good thing? I mean, I know I hate to think that way, but like I agree in this case though, the tweets don't appear to be relevant to what he was trying to do in that point. And that's really what the story was about, was just someone who was being obnoxious and asking for beer money decided to, hey, you know what, screw it, let's make this turn it positive and donate it to kids hospital. And hey, he got more money out of it, and corporate America pitched in.
Well, in the donation,
the Jackals picked him apart for it.
Well, in the donation from Anheuser-Busch, it's still going to go through. The hospital's going to be helped. Anheuser-Busch did make a statement saying they're kind of distancing themselves from the kid because from a PR angle, what else can they do? You know what I mean? You've got people like us who say, hey, the paper probably went a little bit too crazy here. But then on the other hand,
they could stand behind. What they could do is they could stand behind the kid and say, you know what, we all make mistakes. How many of you made mistakes when you were 24? How many of you made mistakes last week while drinking our product?
Right.
But they're not going to do that, but they could. We need to be a culture where we give each other the benefit of the doubt, especially those people who are trying to make this world a better place. It may have started off with beer money, but it ended up trying to do some good.
Yeah, and you know, and we're almost out of time with the segment, but you know, the other thing too is, okay, it's kind of odd where the reporter, and again, this was past offensive tweets that the reporter made, but you know, social media easily found that, and obviously, it's a really big hypocritical, thing. And it was reported by Barstool, and Barstool is pretty good at kind of investigating, stuff that happened with the media and everything else. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, I guess maybe the rule of thumb is if you posted stuff as a kid, maybe you should delete, stuff that you posted if you don't think it's appropriate.
You can't even delete tweets though. I mean, you can, but once they're out there, they're out there.
Yeah,
if they get screenshotted or whatnot.
Oh, right.
But that's the. I mean, I hear you. I mean, the what we really need to start thinking about as a society is maybe social media literacy or some sort of classes about do's and don'ts. And maybe this can be also expanded in schools. This is something I think schools can tackle. Maybe on cyberbullying as well. This can be. I think we're really at the point where we need an all-comprehensive of, best practices for social media.
Definitely. Well, there's a lot that we could bite into here, and I agree with Brandon. I think you have to be smart about how you do social media, but then and also too the mob mentality. We got to be careful about it. I mean, obviously you can't say icky things about other people. That's common sense, but there's got to be some context behind it. And we've all probably said some crazy things that we probably wouldn't want to repeat now. And you just
reviewed some pilots, that could get us in trouble, huh?
Yeah, definitely. The bonus show this week we talked about probably the worst sitcom of all time, where somebody just had a really bad idea for a sitcom. You'll have to definitely check that out. So yeah, well, we want to hear what you have to say about this. Obviously, should people be more careful on social media? Mm-hmm. Is what they've said in social media relevant to things that are happening now? And, is the mob mentality gone too much? Let us know what we think about in the comments below. And thank you for checking out another World of Pew podcast. Have a great day. Okay, I'm going to tape this all together. I want to try to get through at least one or two real quick ones, Brandon, before you have to roll.
Okay.
Stay awake there. This is a tough subject to talk about in just a couple minutes, you know?
Yeah.
That surprised me. I've never seen a paper do that before. It's kind of crazy. Is that you, John? Jeez. I got to email her PR person. We got to have her on. She might fall for it. We'll have to see. All right, let me pull up the next one, and we better get started. I am okay. I want to skip the Frozen just for now. But it's going to take us a little bit to load it, Brandon, if you have to take off. So let's talk about the Joker next. All right. Okay, I'm going to get started now. All right, welcome back to another World of Pew podcast. Lots of said about movies coming up. The Joker is coming out with a new movie, kind of a prequel, I think. Brandon, have you heard much about the new Joker movie?
Well, Chris, it's not so much a prequel, but it's like a standalone film taking place in the 80s. It sounds like the film was deliberately taking place then, so it would have no connection whatsoever to the disaster we call DC cinematic universe. So this apparently stars Joaquin Phoenix, and apparently it looks like it's going to follow more in the footsteps of Heath Ledger's Joker from the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. We all loved Hold and Dear in 2008. But it sounds like it's going to be more violent, more chaotic, more crazy. So it should be kind of exciting for fans who love this character.
Now, on the other hand, obviously, there's people who are, we're just concerned about some of the violent nature. And, there was a bad movie shooting at a theater in Colorado, 12 dead, 70 injured. I guess it was during the Dark Knight Rises, and the shooter had his hair dyed. So apparently he was a little bit inspired by the Joker. Published a Relevant magazine had an article talking about how some people are concerned about this. John, you're the pastor in the group. Nothing against violent movies, but do you think this movie concerns you based on the violence and based on the fact that another movie like that led to a big shooting?
No, not at all. I mean, if people are going to be stupid, they're going to be stupid, and if it's not this, they're going to be stupid during Star Wars. If it's not Star Wars, they're going to be stupid. During the whatever. What's the series where you've got Olympus has fallen, London has fallen, Angel has fallen? That series. I mean, you're going to have some sort of violence in movies, no matter what you have, some sort of sick, twisted thing. If it's not this, they'll put on a clown mask and attack people. Looking like it. Trying to be Pennywise and stuff. I think that they're trying to capture something. And you know what? They really didn't say too much back with the like Brandon talked about the DCEU when you're talking about Suicide Squad and what's his name? Jared Leto, when he's laying around all those weapons on the floor. You didn't get much of that then, but of course I haven't seen this latest iteration of Joker. I don't know what Joaquin Phoenix, how he'll do with that. I imagine he's going to be amazing at it. But as far as, is there any reason why that would call out to violence like it last time? Some nut job figured out a way to express his nut stupidness. And if it wasn't Christopher Nolan's series, it would have been something else.
interesting points there, Brandon. The relevant story talks about how some of the survivors and family members of the Colorado shooting are sending letters to Warner Brothers. They're saying, "Hey, we're concerned about the movie. They want the release to be tied to lending the company's voice a push for gun control reform." Brandon, you and I have talked about how some things need to be done. Um, can we leave Hollywood alone? Does Hollywood always have to talk about that? I mean, can we push for gun control reform without it having to be tied in with any movie, from the Joker to any other movie?
Well, Chris, that's like asking, can athletes shut up about their political views? The
True.
question is, no, everything is political. And the problem is, in this day and age, everything's noticeably political. So, I don't think, heck, if it wasn't political, it would be very boring. Even every
Right.
story has some subtle message, and that's the thing. You have a message, you have an agenda, you have a moral of the story, you have the fable, you have whatever. I mean, that's why we tell stories at the end of the day, is to
Right.
provide, teach, to incite, to stir something inside you. And sadly, it appears this guy, as John pointed out, something would have stirred this guy anyway. I mean, he was looking for something, maybe, or
Right.
I know we don't know. Actually, I should say, put the caveat: we don't know what was going on in his mind. But it's kind of, I think the family's concerns are valid, and they have a right to express their views. And I think, it's always, again, what we should take away from it is just the good discussions we'll have about, how Hollywood should approach those concerns. What are some of the best practices there?
I kind of wonder, and I'm just kind of throwing out this as an idea. Yeah, it'd be kind of silly, John, to say, "Hey, Joker," at the end of the movie, Joker repents for shooting people and says,
Mhm.
"Hey, we need gun control now," and he becomes a senator and he bans assault rifles. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, not all these movies can end up like that.
But
You know,
to be honest, though, I mean, oh, never mind. I'll just shut up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I'm reading the story and it talks about they sent a letter saying to the Warner Brothers saying, "Hey, we want you to be part of a growing chorus of corporate leaders who understand they have a social responsibility to keep us all safe." Now, I'm hearing what you guys say. I mean, obviously, you can't change the movies around. Um, you know, is there something that could be done in conjunction with the Joker, even if it's like a minute before or afterwards, where people talk about choices that people make and everything else? Because a powerful storytelling is showing violence or showing bad choices that people make. Does Hollywood have any responsibility, even if it's before or after the movie, or maybe in the promos of the movie, to kind of try to put in context just to help viewers go in somewhat the right direction? We're not changing the movie, but maybe like Joaquin Phoenix says, tries to speak a little bit against gun violence. Maybe when he's on the talk show circuit or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, we've seen this a little bit with television, I guess. With some television show, they have a sensitive topic, and maybe they'll have a snippet at the end of the show where the stars and the cast are talking about, oh yeah, here's some resources. This is, while this is a fictional dramatization, this is a serious issue. Um, and go to this website maybe for more information. Especially with 13 Reasons Why, a show about excuse me, teenage suicide, and eventually they put in disclaimers, but they also have the cast members come in and talk about, hey, here's how to get help. It just never seems to have transcended to the big screen. And I don't even know necessarily if it's needed at this point, since movie viewership is not doing too well these days because everyone's watching these shows at home. But man, again, in that sense, and if you had
But,
some sort of if someone's speaking at it on the smaller screen at home, that might be just as effective.
Right, but the interesting thing is, you can still watch the Joker at home and all these other movies and everything. I don't know, John. To close this up, it's kind of interesting. We've talked in past podcasts about social media literacy and media literacy. Do you think media literacy should be almost like a required class? Where, yeah, media is a powerful thing. It's fun. You can learn some stuff, but maybe some more classes, even in the public schools, kind of talking about, hey, keep this in perspective. I mean, as Brandon said, it's just a story.
That should be the case. I don't really think we're talking about literacy, though. I think we're talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different ballgame. Yeah, we should be telling people, hey, this is not real. Here's a better way to process what you're seeing. But when you're getting to the point where you're at that point where you're talking about the horrible tragedy like Aurora or others, or suicide or whatnot, your discussion is mental health.
Yeah, definitely.
Every bit as real as physical ailments. If you got mental health issues, that's a different discussion, but it's absolutely real. Physical health, if we had a cast on, no one would be talking about taking a class on how to on how to take care of your arm, but
Yeah.
people who are at the point where they're willing to kill people or themselves. That's not a class thing. That's a how do we get this person help? How do the people who are involved in that person's life or those people's lives redirect them into a better direction?
Well, and that's where you have to be careful, because if we go too much into like media suppression or media, I mean, we're not a free country anymore. And I love to talk about more mental health. The people who speak out against me when I say we need more mental health treatment and everything is the people who say, well, these people don't know how to get help. But we all have to help each other, and just keep asking, are you okay? Is everything all right? And Brandon, I like your point too. It's the stories, and stories aren't always fun, pleasant. Sometimes stories can be violent and ugly, and we got to protect that to certain points. It should be good. All right. Well, hey, great thoughts. Let us know what you think in the comments, and thanks for checking out World of Pew. We'll see you again tomorrow. All right. Brandon, you want to stick around one more?
Yeah, I think I can get in for one more, and then I'll take off.
Side note, since we were talking about the last one with
yeah, I saw
Joker
it.
and all that.
I saw your Dark Knight Steelers thing.
Yeah, what does the Dark Knight Rises have to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, they were trying to film that in Pittsburgh, right? Or
Yeah.
they wanted to film it in a football stadium or something like that.
I think they filmed a scene in Pittsburgh for that. Yeah.
Yeah. John sent me the YouTube link. So I hear you talking. Hey, they're actually up 24-3, so I'm happy now.
3-touchdown lead is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm relieved.
I mean, they're gonna pull this one out.
They'll blow it.
They're gonna blow that lead against Cincinnati.
They stink.
If they were talking about against the Rams, yeah, I get it. But if you're talking about them playing the Chiefs and they're up 3 touchdowns, yeah, it's different.
All right. Hey, let me bring up Frozen real quick, and we'll end Brandon's time by talking about Frozen. Hang on a second. The brand new one came a week ago, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Your link, let me check out your link real quickly because I have it on here. Yeah, that came out on the 23rd, exactly 1 week ago.
All right, sounds good. We'll get started. We'll get started now. All right, we're back. Another World of Pew podcast. Hey, my daughter's excited. Frozen 2 is coming out. Guys, let's take a quick look at the trailer and let's talk about it's coming out in November, but they released a second trailer. So let's check it out. John and Brandon, and tell me what you guys think.
I think it's muted.
Do we mute it?
See, the sound volume is all the way up.
All right.
Is it
Can you
because
hear it, Chris? No, I guess the only Chris can hear it.
it's because your headset, Chris?
All right, hang on a second. All right, let's just start over and let me reset real quick. Sorry. Fall asleep, guys. Hang on, let me try this again.
Why don't you play it real quickly?
Far
There
Can
we
you
go.
hear it?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. All right, back on World of Pew. My daughter is excited. Her favorite movie, Frozen 2, is coming out in November. I got the second trailer here, guys. I got Brandon and John with me. Let's play it. Let me know what you guys think.
as north as we can go, once stood an enchanted forest.
You see an enchanted forest?
Yes, it was a magical place, but something went wrong. Since then, no one can get in or out.
I gotta say, Frozen 2 is getting a little darker as time goes on.
This is only the second movie, Chris.
You'll always have.
I know. I mean, we're missing a little bit of the Let It Go theme here, you know?
Don't talk over it.
There's this voice. Voice? What does that mean?
Ooh.
Head for the cliffs!
I'm gonna blow! I've got you!
Like the storm that hit Hamilton the other night.
Kingdom is not safe. Find who is calling to you. They may have answers.
I'm going with you. Anna? No. Excuse me, I climbed the North Mountain, survived a frozen heart, and saved you from my ex-boyfriend, so, I'm coming.
That's normal. Where are we? How did you get in the forest?
The mist parted for us.
Impossible. Where did you learn magic?
Elsa, get out of there! You can't just follow me into fire. Then don't run into fire.
That's a good point.
Magic is very alluring. Without you, she may lose herself to it.
Oh, is that a political statement, John? Is that too political? Don't run to fire.
At all costs.
Don't run into fire. I don't think that's too political.
Than anyone or anything.
Like, bring a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Quick question. Is the whole putting us in mortal danger going to be a regular thing?
All right, very interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm intrigued. I think it's going to be a good movie. I don't know, though. I got a 7-year-old that gets scared easily. I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm not sure. Is this going to be good for kids, John?
Yeah, I think my daughter will be okay. If she's not, then I would be glad to when I have a shot to go ahead and just give her a little extra daddy squeeze. So
Okay.
yeah,
Brandon,
whatever that is.
are you more excited about Frozen 2 than Frozen 1? How you feel about the whole Frozen series?
Yeah, Frozen 1 was pretty good. Frozen 2 looks like it's going to be, they're going to stretch the legs a little bit. So I'm looking forward to it. I think kids will ultimately like it. I think, who knows? Maybe the guys will like it more than the girls. You know, I don't know. Like, so
Yeah.
it's more action packed.
Yeah, it's got a little more action. And, you know, the kids that liked Frozen a couple years ago, I mean, they're getting older. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that this might be the Disney movie that guys like, you know, for the first time in forever.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and is it danger? Is Frozen going to become like Twilight? I mean, obviously it's animated, but are we getting too much Twilighty, Brandon? Or
No, I don't think we're getting Twilight. I don't think the romance or love interest are even necessary to the movie. It seems
Okay.
like, you know, it's going to be more about these heroines, you know, with, you know, saving the day. So, like, yeah, a lot of sword action from the looks of it, and heck, you didn't really even see the one guy, the one much of the one guy from the first movie. So, yeah, well, I'm excited. I think I would have enjoyed this movie as a kid. I mean, it looks. I think, you know, but then again, I kind of like the dark movies.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a fixer-upper.
yeah.
Phil, that is a good point. Real quick, is I think that's my only worry is the first one really, the music was like top notch for
Yeah.
Disney in a long while. Like, you know, and I'm curious if we'll get that in this one. You know, will we get anything that can top Let It Go? Probably not, but
Will we want to build a snowman?
Well, and you know they've got to have stuff ready, right? I mean, you know, they haven't released what the hit
Well,
songs are.
I'm seeing a lot of leaves in this one, so I think the next version should be, do you want to rake the leaves now?
Yeah.
It's fall. It's fall, guys.
Well, maybe with my daughter, she'll watch that and she'll be like, "Yeah, I want to rake the leaves." I'm like, "Great, go rake the leaves. It'd be fun."
Here's a rake. Here's the bag.
Yeah.
Come back when you're done. And
So
then
you're saying her love will be an open door.
Yeah, and Frozen 3 could just be all about the chores. You know, maybe the whole Frozen series is turning into helping our kids want to do chores. Wouldn't that be wonderful? It should be interesting. I don't know, John. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to watch this movie 500 times. You think?
I
With
think
kids.
you will,
Yeah.
because you know, a movie doesn't even have to be the best movie for a child to adore it. I can't tell you how many times that I've seen The Lion King 2. You know, all of these mainline Disney movies. Like, remember when they're cranking them out left and right, and but in between they crank out the sequel, which really wasn't that great. My daughter loves all of them.
Lion King 2 wasn't a bad direct sequel, though.
No, it wasn't a bad direct sequel. It
Pocahontas 2 was terrible.
It wasn't blockbuster in the theaters. Let's change the world. You know, it was more along the lines of The Return of Jafar, straight to DVD kind of quality. Wasn't bad. I guess what I'm saying is you're not, when you're talking about impressing children, you're not talking about having, you know, discussions about whether or not it's reaching $1 billion, or, you know, or how far the ticket office is going to be. You know, we're probably, Chris, you and I, and well, Brandon, if you get your kicks and giggles with Disney, I don't know where you're at on that, but we'll have to watch it a bunch of times just because we have daughters. So, and you know what?
Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 was also good, actually, even though.
I'm sorry, what was that, Brandon?
Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 was also good. Not a bad sequel.
Yeah.
Quasi does get a girlfriend in that one. Spoiler alert.
And I'm going to be kind of intrigued too. You know, we got the date up, so November 22nd, Frozen 2 comes out. Disney, you know, is starting a new Disney Plus service. I believe November 12th is the opening date for that.
Yep.
It should be interesting. I mean, I wouldn't expect to see Frozen 2 on Disney Plus very soon, but it'd be interesting to see, can Disney leverage the popularity of Frozen 2, like I read they're already going to have some type of a special like documentary in the making of Frozen 2 on there. But I'm wondering, could they release Frozen 2 to the Disney Plus service quicker, and would that attract more people to subscribe? But I'm sure it won't happen super quick because obviously you want to be in the theaters and make your money that way. But it'd be interesting to see how Disney takes advantage of their new subscription service for stuff like Frozen 2.
That's something that's really intriguing to me. And that's November 22nd, right?
Yeah, that's the opening day.
Okay. And hold on. So
Well-
that's literally the Friday before Thanksgiving. So it'd be
proper time for the movies,
yeah.
Yeah, it should be good. So yeah, we're counting down the days to Frozen 2 at my house, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know my daughter, for some of her special needs, she doesn't really like going to the theater as much, so it'll be interesting to see how we can get her to see it, first. We may have to wait till it comes out in DVD.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, check out Frozen 2. Let us know what you think. Thank you for checking out World of Pew podcast. We'll see you again tomorrow. All right. Brandon, you ready for bed, or you want to try one more?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks, dude. I appreciate it, and we'll try to get more sleep before next time. Me too. So,
Yep, sounds good. All right.
hey, have a great night, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, John. What else we got, real quick? And you want to do?
You would get a total of 5 of these, right?
Ideally 6 if we can.
Is
So let's.
okay.
Because I guess here's my thought: if we do it daily, you and I do our our bonus thing, and but we could do short ones. I mean, we don't even have to do 10 minutes. I'm starting to lose a little steam. So, you want to start one real quick? And
Why don't we hit the Kentucky Fried Chicken and Donuts thing?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking the other 3. We can even do a couple minutes apiece and just hammer these out real quick. I don't think we need to do 10 minutes. I mean, it's this one's going to be pretty easy. So, yeah, let's get started so we can go to bed. That sounds weird. All right. Welcome back to another World of Pew podcast. John, we're being brought to you by Frozen 2. It's coming out pretty soon, November 22nd. And what's got me frozen, John, is we got to talk a little bit about food. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Popeyes has got their chicken sandwiches. And KFC says, I'm going to try something new. Have you checked this new sandwich out?
I did check that sandwich out, and it looks absolutely amazing. I don't know if it's good for you. Maybe if I pray the proper prayer and ask God to remove the calories and everything that would kill me, well, then perhaps. But yeah, I looked at this. This is intriguingly weird.
Yes, brought up a story courtesy of BrandonEaton.com talking about how Kentucky Fried Chicken is testing the Kentucky Fried Chicken and Donuts. Looking for the sandwich out in Pittsburgh. You can try out the sandwich or in the Norfolk, Richmond, Virginia areas, and should be interesting. They're saying you can either get the meal with like a donut on the side for $5.49, or you can get 2 donuts for $7.49, or you get the chicken fillet sandwich between 2 glazed donuts for $5.99. Whoa!
Isn't this nuts? I love it and I hate it at the same time. Like, why? Why would? Well, I'm not gonna lie. I might try that just for the heck of trying it, just so we can review it for the podcast. But my body doesn't need that.
Yes, mine doesn't either. And I still like talking. I mean, I can't eat some of this food anymore, but I'm always fascinated kind of taking a look how these food, goes. I mean, I don't know. But, I got to say, at McDonald's, they have these McGriddle sandwiches and where you get in the morning, but they put syrup on it. So I've tried that before, and with the syrup and egg, it's just a weird mix. It's just that all together. John, for as glorious as chicken and glaze sound, is that a bad mix?
Um,
I
well,
mean,
I'm not really sure.
well, apart they're glorious, but
you mean like a
together I don't
horrible
understand
tasting
it.
mix or what?
What's that?
You mean like a horrible tasting mix or what?
Yeah, I mean mixed together. I mean, glazed donuts, good. Grilled chicken, great. But tasting grilled chicken and glazed donuts at the same time, could that be bad?
Maybe.
See, and that's where my taste gets a little bit weird. I'm not sure if I would like those two together.
Hmm.
So, are you gonna try one, John?
I absolutely will.
All right, sounds good.
No, I'll try it for the podcast. You and I have had this hard conversation about how we need to be eating more wisely and taking care of our bodies. We've got
Right.
girls that we're trying to grow up for and grow old for and take care of, and we can't do that if we're just rippling along life, back and forth like a bowl of Jello.
Right. I kind of wonder too. If you could be, disciplined in how you do it, could you try one here and there? Interesting. Men's Health did an article about the same thing.
Mhm.
I guess they haven't come out with how many calories it is.
Mhm.
Men's Health is guessing that the chicken sandwich that KFC offers is about 500 calories. Donuts about 200 calories. So you're looking at 700 calories, which isn't good, but I don't know if you don't.
Not even good quality calories.
Yes,
That's
that's true.
that part. And by the way, if you want to do this, buddy, we could do a roadie. It's in Pittsburgh area.
It'll be interesting. We may have to make a call after the podcast just for that. Should be good.
Yeah, to 911. But anyway,
Definitely. Well, and the other thing is, this is a big state fair food. People like the state fair part of the sandwich. I don't know, John. Do you want to eat the state fair food during the year, or should that just be confined to the fair? I mean,
it shouldn't even be at the fair. It's pretty rough. When I do state fair food, there's not really a ton that I love. Whether you're talking state or county fair or whatever, we've got a few local fairs in the area that are the same type of deal.
mhm.
You got your lemon shake ups, you got your Belgian waffles, elephant ears. I like the Greek gyros and stuff like that. You go to some flea markets or places of that type. I forget what the proper phrase is for that now, but they have stuff like that there too. This just seems nuts. Like to take a piece of fried chicken and to use donuts for the buns.
Well, it's funny too because we are kind of getting more health conscious as a country, but at the same time, it's gone the other way. Like you can get pop bigger and at different restaurants and everything. So it should be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love writing about this type of food, and although I can't eat it anymore, but it'll be interesting. So I want to know what you think. Are you going to be writing the Kentucky Fried Chicken to get the donut chicken sandwich? Yeah, are you excited it's going to be coming? Will it come nationwide? It'll be interesting to see how people in Pittsburgh and Virginia react to it. So, hey, thanks for checking out another World of Pew podcast. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Something that'd be interesting. What if we actually made a roadie for that and then did a reaction video while we eat it?
Well, what I would like to do, and I'm going to start emailing, I might message you guys separately about this. I get these pitches from people. Walmart supposedly in the past is willing to send us food. And maybe if you have a minute, maybe you can help me sometime, just like write a message and say, hey, we got a podcast. Can you send us some food?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start reaching out to some fast food places too. I mean, we could probably get some samples. I mean, I'm not sure.
That
Right.
might actually blow up better.
What's that?
If we do stuff like that, the podcast might actually blow up.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, and that. Yeah, and what I might do, my only limitation right now is time. So I might incorporate you guys to help. All you have to do is just send an email. Say, hey, here's a podcast. Here's a link to check it out. We'd love to try food out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, if you have any promotions of anything weird or new.
Yeah. And
trying to test out, we would love to put it on our show.
And the worst thing people could say is no. You know what I mean? So should be good. All right, let's get to the other two real quick. And
what are the other two again?
We're gonna talk massive TVs. So,
like how big?
Well, I haven't got a chance to take a look myself. So let me throw it up here real quick.
I'm gonna look at the video. It won't open for me. You got it on yours?
Yeah, you can hear it, right?
I hear it, yeah. Go ahead.
All right, welcome back. Another World of Pew podcast. John, we got to talk a little bit massive TVs. Playing this in the background. It's the new, and I just lost it. I got so excited about it. It's the new OLED TV, John. Shared the tweet with you a little earlier, and I'll tell you, when you talk about TV, this is kind of fascinating. Let me pull up for you.
Sure.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think, that's insane is what it is. When you're talking about how big this thing is, yeah, go ahead and play that. Yeah. So basically, it's a bunch of 260, 55-inch, curved LED, OLED TV. To create an immersive experience, it looks like.
I gotta say, okay, yeah, it'd be fascinating. Yeah, I'm a little bit, got my tongue out going, man, this is be great. I wish I could have this. But how big? And all we have is a nice video from Mashable, courtesy of our friends there. But, they're saying the size of 260, 55-inch TVs. So, I got a nice little area. I kind of call my unofficial man cave. I got a decent-sized TV down there. What kind of room do you need for that, though?
This is like an arena. What they're talking about in this, if I can go back to the little article thing that you sent me, they're talking about just a whole nother immersive experience, which just seems phenomenal. I don't know exactly what the purpose could be for such a thing. Do you?
Well, but like it said in the video, if you're watching a movie or we were talking about we're taping this on Monday night with Monday Night Football on, it could be insane and impressive. And you're right.
Or some sort of like a planetarium type of feel where I know there's a lot of as you've shown the video, there was a lot of undersea type of experience stuff that'd be kind of well lit. I think if you're looking to experience something that you cannot experience, then that would be a phenomenal way to experience that. Now, I did notice there's a lot of glare on there for some reason, but it's funny that you stopped that where you stopped that, because my first reaction thought is, if you want to see stars, walk outside. And I guess if you're in the lit nighttime area, like if you're in an urban setting, that'd be a little more difficult. But I've seen gorgeous stuff peppering the sky, camping. Although that's pretty detailed there. Those seem like shots that are taken from our space. And by the way, how amazing must that resolution be to spread over a size like that?
Oh yeah. Well, you're getting more
crazy video videography.
Well, I mean, it was funny. A couple years ago, 4K TV was a big deal, and just think of years before, and HD TV was a big deal. But
Mhm.
already, you're hearing talk about 8K, instead of 4K, and I think a lot of these companies already have stuff that we don't know about already planned. Because they can roll it out and get more money and everything else.
But
And
that puts 8K to shame. I mean, do you realize
oh,
what that would have to be?
right, yeah, but you're right too. We talk about is our TV's getting way too big, and you're right. This, unless you're a guy man putting this in your house, I gotta say though, are our TVs getting too big? I mean, like you raised a good point. Like if you're watching a planetarium show, you could go outside and see the same thing. It's interesting. A lot of people say, why go to the football game anymore? You got a nice big screen TV with the image and everything. I I don't know. I mean, are we creating a culture where like some of the stuff we don't have to go to anymore? And
Yeah.
really, is it that bad of a thing? I mean, we talked about going to see movies. Movies cost, what's it? Almost $15 in some places now. You overpay for maybe parking if you're in the big city, but you're overpaying for food and snacks and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to put this bad boy in your house, but isn't it nice to have a bigger TV so you can kind of relax more home with your family?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, just put this in proper perspective. If you went the typical widescreen formatting, unless my math is off, you're talking about almost 900 inches,
Right.
which is the equivalent of my math has got to be off in this. Like I'm trying to fathom this, and
Right. And I guess what I'm thinking too, and obviously you've got to get out of the house to interact with people and everything. But
yeah,
if you're looking for a nice immersive entertainment experience, yes, this TV probably wouldn't fit in your house. But I'm hearing more about there's more broader entertainment. There's these companies that offer more of an entertainment room and everything. And I say go for it. Create a more interactive entertainment thing that you can have at your house that you can enjoy with your family. You don't have to, do the bustle of movie theaters and everything else like that.
go for a hike, go to a museum, go camping,
Yeah,
bicycling, play ball. I mean,
I'm saying watch more TV. You're saying go outside. Boo.
do scavenger hunts, read a book. It doesn't even have to be paper. If you want Kindle, do Kindle, or I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
But this is good for. I mean, I guess I'm saying it's good for entertainment, and
Yeah,
I think it's neat that this technology is
yeah.
a lot readily available than the past. Like I remember the first time I ever saw a VCR, it was like, whoa, this is wild. You can actually stop a show, and now it's common. So
And then you start debating with your teacher, your neighbor, about whether or not VCR is better or Betamax. Yeah.
oh yeah, and it's good. And that was what in the early '80s when that stuff got popular. Now this stuff is starting, and who knows, maybe in 20, 30 years from now, this will be common in more houses. So it'll be interesting to see.
That
I'm
won't be
encouraged.
common because that's as big as a house. But
Well, right, but what I'm saying is maybe the smaller version of that, or something else like that. So
yeah.
it's interesting to see how technology is advancing. John, you're right. At the same time, we've got to experience life for itself and not spend all of our time in front of the TV. But hey, I'm glad to see the advancement in technology. I just put it like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it just put what you're talking about in proper perspective with this tie-in. By the way, just to nerd out for a second, if you actually did this area in a typical widescreen format, you're talking about like over 70 feet diagonal.
Oh yeah,
That's insane. Anyway, sorry, I had to nerd out for a moment, numbers wise.
Yeah, and I wonder, even though this isn't for home use, when does that become overwhelming? It's kind of cool to see that, but when does too much become too much with that. So I don't know. But yeah, hey, it's nice to marvel at and get a little jealous at. So
Mhm.
let us know what you think about the new massive TV that's offered, and let us know if that's something you'd ever consider if you ever became rich, or what do you think about bigger TVs. Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for checking out another World of Pew podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, let's do one more and then we'll be done. And I'm gonna fall asleep. Maybe maybe the last one will just fall asleep. How about that?
Yeah.
It'll be 8 hours of us sleeping. It'll be great.
What's with the Nissan Altima and Rogue?
Yeah, just the point I'm trying to make is there's a bunch more car recalls, and is that good or bad? I mean, this is just one of the billion of car recall stories out there.
Could be a problem with a safety
Yeah.
feature as you
Yeah.
Let me
back
stop
out
this
of
so we can just get going.
Okay. All right, let me mark down the time. Okay.
Says that the problem with the backup camera systems in the affected vehicles is they don't return to the default image when the transmission is shifted into reverse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the backup systems in the affected vehicle, they don't return to the default image. The transmission. I don't understand that.
Well, but honestly, I want to talk more in general just about how the massive car recalls, because for a while there was tons of car recalls. I mean, this is just one
Yeah.
example of the millions are out there. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's get started so we can be done. All right. Welcome back. Another World of Pew podcast. John and I were just talking about this coming out break. A lot of recalls have been happening lately. This latest one, John, there's a recall of 1.23 million vehicles by Nissan, some Rogue, and the Ultima models. John, there was some issues with backup cameras in the vehicles in this case, but John, even more than that, I'm kind of weirded out because everything has to have a recall now. John, I think the companies are just trying to protect their butts here, but when's enough? I mean, are you nervous when you get that recall notice? I mean, I guess they're trying to take care of you, but with all the recalls, are the cars safe anymore? What's happening here?
Well, I'm sure they are safe, and that's why they're doing the recall notices. Some of them seem kind of a little bit crazy that they would even have those issues. But I guess if they're being responsible, as they go, then they'll let you know. I'm looking at recall notices right now, like you were talking about the Nissan, which was a huge one. If you don't mind me bringing it up, Chris, Nissan's recalling 1.23, 1.25 million SUVs and sedans tied with a problem with backup cameras. In addition to that, like literally before this, you're talking about the next, just to put in perspective, the next highest totals with 2019 would have been like there's around 680,000 Volkswagen cars that were brought up, and then you're talking about like just under 500,000 Ford trucks, SUVs, and Lincoln SUVs, 1.5 with Audi. The Toyota Corolla and Matrix had some. Ford Fusion and Lincoln MKZ had some. Those were the top 5 before this recall with Nissan. So when you're talking about a big gap between, I mean, it's a ginormous gap. 680,000 Volkswagens before that was the largest recall. Now you're talking 1.25 million almost.
Well, and you can look at it 2 different ways. One, you kind of look at where it's got to be hurting these car companies, because unless I'm wrong, like with a recall, they're saying, look, bring your car and we'll fix it. And it's not going to cost you anything because it's being recalled. so are these companies even being put together properly? I mean, the cars, are they being put together properly? But then on the other hand, is it a big, hey, I'm trying to protect our butt here because if they recall the car, then if your car breaks down, then you can't sue the car company because they could say, hey, we sent you a recall. So I know I hate to sound old manish, but it's kind of funny because these cars, I don't think they're built as strong as the other cars, and it makes you scared. Last year I got hit twice, and it was funny because it really wasn't a severe debilitating collision where my family got injured or anything, but our cars got totaled because too much damage from the fix. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the thing that troubles me in all of this stuff. I mean,
Well, don't be a bad driver. That'll help you.
yeah, but both these cases, someone ran into me. It wasn't my fault. So
Right. Sure.
right, but I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think the cars are. I mean, some of these cars seem to be plastic anymore, and it scares you. Okay, don't be a bad driver, but I live in the big city, and people bang into you and everything else. So I don't know.
You live in the big city?
Yeah, well, Columbus,
I
it's
didn't think your address was Columbus.
a fun city. Sometimes the drivers tend to be a little bit on the crazy
I
side.
know. You're in one of the burbs right on the rim there, but at any rate, yeah, no, they do seem to be really costly with all the plastic that's on them and whatnot. And then when you look at some of the recall, like the backup camera being this one in particular, that's an issue. Not that it's not working. It said that like this one says that the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration made some sort of claim that the reduced rear visibility could lead to an increased risk of an accident in the event the driver does not readjust the display before quote unquote reversing. Okay, sure, that's a great way to put that. At any rate, there is this thing with the backup camera. I won't go into details because I don't fully understand what the problem is. It doesn't seem like it's clear in that article that we were looking at from CNN. Right. But at any rate, some of these recall notices aren't really all that bad, but they're enough that they don't want to cause problems with the customers who have purchased them. But likewise, also, how many times do you test a certain part when you're putting out a product?
Well, and I'll give you
if that camera has a problem after I don't know 50,000 attempts at it, at putting it in that position, and no one noticed because they only tested it 10 times. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my head right now. I don't know how many attempts go into that stuff, but if they find out from their customers that a problem exists and you see a pattern there and then they notify people, I've got no problem with that. They're being responsible.
Well, I kind of wonder, are we literate about our cars anymore? I mean, it's interesting. There's a lot of new technology, a lot of cool things being added to our cars. I'll tell you something funny, and mock me if you may. Over the weekend, I moved some stuff from my mom's house down here. So we got a small U-Haul truck. There's a different type of backing light on a U-Haul truck I wasn't used to. So I had my front lights on. I didn't have my back lights on. Didn't realize that my back lights weren't even on because if you're driving a van, you don't see, obviously, the back of the car. So I get pulled over on the way to Columbus. And it was funny because the officer was kind of laughing, going, yeah, I pull over a lot of people with U-Haul that don't understand the backup lights. And, I kind of sit there and think, maybe we're not understanding what these cars can do. I mean, and like you said, with the backup, cameras. I mean, do we understand how our cars even work? I don't know. I did get a warning, so thank you, Ohio Highway Patrol, for helping me out there. But I don't know, just kind of a crazy thing. So, I mean, I guess overall, Yeah, I mean, recalls are important. We want to keep safe out there. It's disturbing. I mean, I think it's costing our car industry a lot more money. And I think it's just a pain in the butt for car owners. It's crazy. So all right. And yeah, it's frustrating. So thank you for laughing at me being frustrated, John. So it's all good. All right. Well, let us know what you think about the car industry. I do a lot of work with some insurance companies, and it's kind of interesting to see what's happened here. It cannot be good for the car industry, and what can be done to make it better. We don't have as many recalls. We keep everybody in America safe, but at the same time, don't screw up the car industry and the insurance industry at the same time. So, John, as always, thank you for your time. And check this out tomorrow on Worldview. Thank you. All right.